talked about what this was going to be when we sat down together. One of the things that I think I admire the most about you is how well you work with everyone, okay? Not just the people that you're working with on a daily basis, but you have this energy about you where people just want to work with you. And so when we look at real estate today and this idea of information being in everyone's hands and the power of the real estate professional, we wanted to talk about how do you develop and keep these relationships that you have with other real estate professionals, not just in your market, but really all over the world, and the importance of that. So kind of off we go. Put on our seatbelts. Here we go.
So I think the first thing is having a different approach to business. I'm in LA, and LA is really like the land of sharks when it comes to real estate. You know, a lot of reality shows are just that, the reality shows, they're fake and so forth. But the idea of a cutthroat environment and there being sharks in the water and blood in the water, it's real. And there's a lot of that on a daily basis. So part of it is just a mind shift from competition to what I describe as cooperation, right? We're cooperating with each other. You know, a lot of times we look at it as we're fighting against other agents, but we need each other to get deals done. We need each other to service our clients better. So it starts with the agent-to-agent relationship.
That's great. And I like the cooperation. I heard you probably the very first time I saw you as an instructor for the Institute's course. Tell us a little bit more about what that means, right? It's a great word, but what does that mean?
Our job is to shepherd our clients from point A to point Z. You know, not even A to B. That's too easy. A to Z. This is real estate. So there's going to be a lot of ups and downs, forwards and backs, you know, complications from A to Z. And to do that and to do it effectively, it takes a team, not only your own team of administrative support, escrow, title, all the people who are players in the equation, but also the other agent, the other side of it. And so if we don't have good rapport, if we don't have a good relationship with that other agent, we're going to run into more hurdles than are necessary. And often, because the other agent is the same shepherd that you are for their client, it's really communicating in a way that gets everyone to the desired outcome, right? It's not just about winning or losing. It's what's the actual desired outcome. And I come back to that as a North Star. Right? I always say, what's the desired outcome? That should be the North Star for everyone in the equation.
And the North Star would be getting the deal done.
Getting the deal done.
Right. Okay.
They want to sell, or we want to sell, you want to buy. How do we get us there?
Great. So kind of give us a couple of examples of when that doesn't work. Right. I mean, because we're going to get to how does it work and what's this great world we all want to live in. But
let me tell you this agent. His name is, no, I'm just kidding.
I thought you were going to go there.
You know, when it doesn't work, and this is easy to relate to because we're all humans, first and foremost. Yep. It doesn't work when we lose a little bit of our professionalism and let sometimes the human side seep into the equation, right? So I say our clients are allowed to be human in the process, but the agents, we have to remain professional. When the other agent, I say that because it never happens to me, of course, never, please. When the other agent is getting emotional, you know.
Emotional, Kofi.
Emotional.
Okay.
Or sometimes it's the pressure from your client that seeps into your own emotions and presentation. That usually is when we see hiccups, right? There's always a way to communicate. There's always a way to communicate effectively. It's finding the right words. It's finding the right timing. Right? And it's sometimes just softening the blow. But I think things can go awry either when emotions come into the equation or sometimes it's purely miscommunication.
Interesting, because texting.
Oh right? My gosh.
So you've got some rules around that I've heard you talk about when you're doing deals. Can you talk about them? I think they're great. Yeah, no,
I think so much can be lost in texting. You know, I think even from the beginning with our clients, we always have to ask permission to even text, right? So especially dealing with luxury or affluent clientele, the assumption nowadays is everyone texts. Well, not everyone wants to text. Now, I've always asked, and I've almost always had them say, yes, it's fine. But with texting, I only text updates. Like if it's a quick update in terms of confirming an appointment time or something like that. If it's something subjective or if there's any emotions around it, I tell them to call me, right? The text says, call me. That's the only text that I actually send. The other thing about texting too is I always say, don't text good news. You always call if you have good news to share with the other agent, with your clients. And I say that because you don't want to cheat yourself out of the emotional response from your clients, that positive emotional response. Our jobs are hard. Like I said, A to Z.
Yep.
A to Z is a lot of heartache, a lot of pain, a lot of canceled escrows, or starting escrow, all of that. So if there are moments where we get to share good news, call, hear their voice on the other end of the line.
That is probably my favorite Kofiism, because I remember the first time I heard you talk about that.
Yeah.
You think about how does that come into play in your whole life,
Right.
right? So, so if miscommunication is the center of when these relationships can tend to get off center,
Mm-hmm.
what other tips would you give about not just texting, but this process now has become so automated?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the automation can tend to put the agent in a different place than, say, the agent was before, where you had to come and bring a piece of paper.
Right.
So how have you adapted to that and kept the relationships?
Right. I think we have to remember the value add that we bring as agents. I think that's critical in a day and age where like the velocity of information is higher than ever. It's faster than ever. The access to information is greater than ever. It's how we interpret that information for our clients that makes us the professional and makes us the value add. So I always say, never just send a generic email, never just forward a listing, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Always give your thoughts, your 2 cents, your value add, the information that your client may not have access to, the motivations of the seller, the other comps in the neighborhood, things that you can analyze and give an opinion on that differentiates you from technology, period.
Right.
Use technology to your advantage. It's not the enemy. It's something to embrace. I remember when Zillow first hit, years and years ago, when Zillow came along, it was like this green monster had come into our industry. And I was like, no, we have to embrace it. We have to embrace it. And I told my clients, listen, Zillow's great. If you see something on there, let me know. We use it as another tool in our toolbox, right? The challenge with it, especially initially, is the information wasn't always accurate. I said it's a great place to start, but you don't want to finish there, because you want to use me as the professional to help you analyze the information and make sure that you're making accurate decisions.